recording. Okay, so we're going to get started. All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming or joining our Zoom. And if you're not joining our Zoom, hopefully you're seeing this at a later date. I'm Christina Kramer, and I'm the founder of this page and one of the leading members. So tonight's meeting is really just about getting started with doing a monthly meeting. We are in the process of becoming a 501c3. One of the other ladies will be speaking about that. And I just want to show off really quickly in the beginning our brand new logo. So let me just pull that up. Here it is. Can you see my screen? Am I sharing my screen? Do I need to share my screen?
You need to share.
Okay.
I see it.
It says you are screen sharing. Am I sharing it now?
I see it. No, that's another
See it.
person.
Yeah. It's up. You can see it on your computer?
I
Okay.
can't.
All right, I'm going to
Shooting
show
it while we
on your,
can.
it says you are screen sharing.
Wonder what I'm not
I
saying.
don't know.
You can see it now?
Maybe hold it up. Can they hold it up?
I see it.
But the graphic is so nice.
I see the new logo. Wonder what we're not seeing.
Oh, that's very strange, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
but everyone
maybe
does.
you have to change your gallery, like to see the screen, like maybe put
Oh.
the one up thing or the gallery thing.
Speaker view. There it is.
You
Oh.
can see, so okay, so you see my Facebook thing right now, right?
Right.
Okay, and there's
Oh,
our new logo.
Wow, nice.
Oh, that's
So
good.
this logo was originally created by a woman named Marion Chapman. It was one of the women's wind groups that I got a hold of right away, and I love the picture so much that they said they sent it to me and said that we could use it in any way that we want to raise awareness for the cause. Actually,
Wonderful.
that's not the final one, but it looks very much like that. And I'll show you really quick here. We also have this is the one on the left here is actually the logo here. It so you can see it's a little more finished. And then over here is our new mission statement. We are tired of being called an opposition group because that's not what we are. We are the environmental conservationists. So we're an environmental conservation organization created to protect our coastal communities and surrounding waterways from industrialization, to maintain residents' quality of life, as well as preserving the rights of nature. It really is no more and no less than that. Trying to protect our coastline, our communities, our real estate values, our quality of life, our sea life, the sanctuary of the ocean. It really, we're not looking to change anything. We're just looking to protect stuff. And that doesn't make us oppositionists. It makes us conservationists. But we constantly get quoted as wind opposition, and
Yes.
we're opposed to the wind, but more importantly, we're acting in the interests of protecting our environments.
Yes.
All right. So FYI, I just wanted to give a big thank you to Debbie Slott. She's one of our members, graphic designer in the group, and she's the one who updated and upgraded our logo. So you know, when people volunteer their time, they need to get acknowledged. So I just want to go through the format of the meeting. This meeting is live on Zoom, and it will also be recorded and posted to our group. The meeting will be a maximum of 45 minutes. Anyone can leave a comment or a question in the chat, which will be monitored throughout the meeting. Periodically, relevant questions may be asked and answered during the meeting. Unanswered questions will be answered in the Q&A at the end of the meeting, probably about 45 minutes in. But if there's a relevant question, the leading members of the group will be monitoring the chat. And if it's something that's relevant or important, they might break in and say, we have a question in the chat, and we'll answer that question right on the spot. That's it. We should go about 45 minutes, and then there should be a Q&A. And if there's no Q&A, we'll end it there. So as an introduction to our meeting, again, I said we are officially in the process of creating a 501c3. And our our board members are going to be Tony Egan. She's going to be the president. She's an Island Park resident. Veronica Dalton, also an Island Park resident. She'll be the vice president. Jennifer Sarafin will be the treasurer. She's a Long Beach resident. Christina Kramer, yours truly, I will be a board member. Michelle Ann will also be a board member. And Marjorie Wiederhold, Michelle and Marjorie, both from Island Park, will both be board members as well. So that's that. So thank you to all of you for stepping up and helping us to be able to collect money properly and legally. We so far the money we have collected went straight to the lawyer. It's sitting in a trust, and that money is being used to pay for our lawyer, among other things, which Jennifer will go into later. Or Noel, I'm not sure which one. I have it listed here. So that's all for me right now, unless there's any questions directly for me. I'm going to be leaving before the half hour because my son is in his, he's going to kill me because I can never get this right. He doesn't play the trombone, he plays the other one.
Trumpet?
Trumpet, yes, he plays the trumpet.
I played the
And his assembly is tonight. So I'm going to be ducking out, but I will be hopping on the Zoom as a guest in case anybody needs me for anything. So without further ado, I am going to pass the mic over to Noel. Noel, can you pick up? Yeah, you're unmuted, and I'm going to mute myself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to those of you that showed up this evening. Just to give you a bit of a summary about our finances. In 2023, we collected about $20,000 that went to the attorney. At the year end, we had a balance of $2,000. This year's to date, we've collected 23.5. Our expenses have been 12,000, and our balance year to date is about 13.5. The money that we collect goes directly to Ben. We use it for his attorney fees. We will be setting up the 501(c) using those funds. Ben, our attorney, has hired a consultant for different things that gets paid through that account. And we use the funds for fundraising, printing costs, signs, t-shirts. So the current balance right now is about $13,000. With the Article 7 settlement proceedings about to resume.
Noel, can you pause and ask everybody if they can hear? Because I don't know if they can. Somebody's saying they can't hear. Turn the volume up.
My volume's up.
Can everybody ask everybody if they can hear?
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody all right?
Yep.
Do I need to go back over anything? Or you got it? You got it. Okay. So the Article 7 settlement proceedings are about to resume. They were on pause for a bit. Michelle is going to update you on that process. But that is going to be pretty draining on our balance because our lawyer is present, which means that those funds are going to diminish rather rapidly. And again, the expense of setting up the 501(c). So that being said, Jen is going to show you on our Facebook page where you can get the Venmo link. You can also send a check directly to Ben Wisniewski. And both of those features are in our Facebook page on the feature tabs. So if anybody has any questions about money, please let me know. We're looking forward to this 501. And we've got a lot of work to do because this project is steamrolling right now, and we need to get loud and fight harder. So thank everyone for all that you've done so far. We're all so grateful. Good night. And Michelle, you're up. Unless Jen, do you want to show them that tab? Okay, she's going to do it later. So Michelle, you're up.
Okay. Hi, can everyone hear me? Hi, Michelle. Thank you everyone very much for your time. I just wanted to share, can someone, how do I'm going to put it in the chat. I just want to share the Article 7 that we're in. So Article 7 is different. So New York State and New Jersey are both different. They both have different ways for laying of the cable. So Article 7 is New York State's, and that's where we currently are. There's over, I think, maybe 400 or 500 documents now that have been submitted for view for the administrative law judges, and there are many parties. A lot of the parties are local municipalities, like City of Long Beach is there, the Village of Allen Park is there, Costco, and we're there, represented by our lawyer Ben. Recently, to give you some information about what's going on, there was a pause put into effect the end of last year within the settlement negotiations. Equinor did a pause. They recently submitted a letter on May 1st stating, in response to the judges stating that they were going to resume settlement conferences starting this May. I'm sorry, May 15th. May 15th. Yeah, the settlement conferences were going to be resuming May 15th. Our lawyers present, and those calls usually last a few hours, which gets very expensive. And another recent update, our local municipality submitted interlocutory motions, which is appeals, which is a motion to try and dismiss the application because there is no current proposed route, right? Because Long Beach doesn't want the cable coming through there, and neither does the town of Hempstead. So we also, our group, our POCLINY also jumped on board and said, yes, no, this should not go through because there's no NYSERDA contract, which is the power purchase agreement contract with our rates. And the judges dismissed all the appeals, which is why we're going back to settlement discussions. And the settlement discussions are confidential. So none of that information is open to the public, but any resident can become a party to settlement discussions. You have to conduct yourself in a lawyerly manner. You're going to be speaking with judges, so you have to address them as such. Because and none of it, again, because it's confidential, if we're going back to settlement to talk about, Equinor says verbatim, exploring potential additional alternatives to the current proposed transmission routes. So even if we become privy to this information, we can't tell anyone. So it's up to the local resident to try and get on settlement and try and navigate the whole situation that's ongoing. But we've been involved for about a year, and we can help anyone if anyone is ever interested. I did want to give a shout out to Kathleen for helping us find our lawyer. He's been instrumental in helping us understand and guide us through this process. Our lawyer is invaluable. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. Let us know if you have any other questions about the Article 7. Thank you.
Say something?
Yeah.
I have a question. They're supposed to be looking at cumulative effects, are they not, when they lay the cable? I mean, the lawyer that we've been talking with, Maureen Coates, she's made it pretty clear, that every single aspect of this, generally of all of these projects, lack cumulative impact. They lack addressing alternative investigations such as modular nuclear, when they're supposed to be looking at, different alternatives, et cetera, to, seeking out the best electric source you can use. That doesn't mean putting it out 10 more miles. It means alternatives, something different and apart from wind turbines, which evidently they have not really been doing. In Brooklyn, they're going to be putting 65 feet tall storage of lithium, which is, of course, very volatile. And that hasn't been taken into account. And that's part and parcel of a lot of these projects for part of New England, for New York, and part of New Jersey. So the backup battery storage is also part and parcel of the entire package, which again, they haven't been addressing as a cumulative analysis. They've done beautifully segmenting all of this, not only part and parcel of each project, but part and parcel of each state depending upon different coastal zone managements, various city zoning, et cetera. So, I mean, all of this seems to lack the whole general, looking at every aspect of the whole project. And so I don't know if your attorney's been looking at that as well with respect to Article 7.
Michelle, do you know?
Yeah, I'll take that. So yeah, there's no cumulative, yeah, you're right. There's no cumulative studies on any of this, right? So, and everything is going to be mitigated, mitigate.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of where we're at. There's government agencies involved. You got DEC, DOS. I'm sorry, I'm just yelling off acronyms. I think Noel, I'm not sure if you have the Department of Department of State, Department of Public Service, um, Department of Environmental Conservation, and they're good, the DEC. They want to make sure that if you're going to go through a water route or through a endangered habitat, it's not going to be at a month where they are infringing on when they're nesting. So, I've also seen documents. Let's just say the North Atlantic right whale is migrating between February and May. And Equinor wants to come in and do pile driving in March. I'm just making up months here. And they'll say, oh no, we want to get it done in March, but the migration is until May. They'll say, well, because of costs, we don't want to wait until May. And this is all public knowledge, because costs, we don't want to wait until May. And they'll say, all right, just self-monitor out there and just, make sure that nothing happens. It's all self-regulation, which is all kind of, so, yeah, I don't know if hopefully I tried to answer your question.
Thank you. Well, with regard to the NEPA rules and regs in terms of cumulative impact, et cetera, how did they answer that?
I haven't seen anything about NEPA or SEQRA. And with the new Rapid Act that just passed, does the Rapid Act affect New Jersey? No, I think that's only New York.
I think it's only New York.
Yeah, only New York. I don't think SEQRA is actually even is going to be involved. And I forget what SEQRA is short for. SEQRA.
Environmental quality, something, isn't it? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
State Environmental.
State Environmental Quality Review Act. Yeah. Oh,
Such a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for posting the link, Marjorie.
Oh, you're welcome. You posted it first.
Any other questions, or we should move on to the 501? Jennifer, do you want to speak about the 501?
Does anybody have any questions on Article 7?
I think people here kind of know what they're here for.
Yeah, okay, if anybody has a question of how to get on to Article 7, that is really Marjorie's thing, so she will help anybody who would like that help. So she's really good at that, and it would be great, because the more people on that, the harder it is for them. So that's a big deal. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. I'm Jennifer Sarafin. I'm one of the founding members too, and I'm a board member, and that is the 501c3 is moving forward nicely. And we received the corporation documentation. So we've chosen our board. We've selected an accountant. So we're starting all our paperwork on that. So that is a good thing. Does anybody have any questions about that, or? I can move on? Okay, so now the website, we're doing a website and we just finalized the logo and we're gonna move ahead to build that.
Jeff Conley is helping us with that.
Jeff Conway is helping with that. Yeah, he's here, so.
Oh, that's Jeff Conley. So keep going.
Okay, so we're gonna be doing a monthly newsletter. So that will be nice, so everybody can stay up to date with that. We also are gonna create apparel with our new logo and a mission statement. We'll be getting estimates on that. Once we create the t-shirt designs, we'll be looking for sponsors to place the logos on the back of the t-shirt. And we'll be creating sponsorship packages, which will be on the website. So that will be really good too. All right. Our way forward. This is obviously not going away because as one wind company, even if we do get rid of Equinor, there's one right behind it, as you all know. Went to the library. They're never going to give up. So I'm just going to add something in there. I don't know if you all know that the Rapid Act went through with the budget. So everybody needs to be aware. We need to go to those city council meetings because they need to constantly be told that even though the Rapid Act went through, that beach is still off limits. They never have to give up that beach. Everybody needs to know that. That does not fall into the Rapid Act. Everything else does. They can take your house, they can take the land, but they can't take the beach, okay? Just be aware of that. I want you all to know that. Yeah, I want you all to know that. Okay, so our way forward, we're going to continue with the petitions online and in person. She wants me to show this online petition, and I'm not very good at screen sharing, so I got to figure that out. Okay.
Big green button
have
in
to
the
click.
middle.
Okay.
Green
You have
button
to
in the
click-
middle, on the bottom, share screen.
There you go. The
You
petition,
might need to mouse over it.
that's not it. Okay. I'm going down here. She has it up there. Okay. You is here. Okay. The screen is.
It's okay, Jen, you can move along.
Okay, I'm gonna move along. I'll show it at the end. If you go on our Facebook page, up in the pinned stuff, all of our stuff is up there with the petitions. Maybe Michelle, when I'm done, you can show all that for me, because I'm not too savvy with all this, sorry. So the petitions are up there and Ben's stuff is up there. We also would like to continue collecting email addresses. Anybody on here tonight, if you want to put your email in the chat, that would be great. We would really appreciate that. And we would like to put that also, we'll have an option on our website. We're also going to be ordering new lawn signs, and everybody, if you can do it in packs of 10, this way we can gather $100 at once. It'll make it a lot easier. So you'll do $100 for 10 signs and 10 will be printed for you. So what can everybody else do to help protect our communities? So it's not all on the same people constantly and everybody who's helping us. You can attend the Long Beach City Council meetings. You can attend the Island Park meetings in your own community. Ask the status of the Article 7, get on as a party and settlement. Like I said, Marjorie will help people who want to get on that. These meetings for the City Council, Long Beach City Council is every other Tuesday at 7 o'clock. You go on Long Beach on the website and it shows you when they are, but they are every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. So that is a good thing. It's on the 6th floor of City Hall. The other one is attend the Village of Island Park meetings more frequently and ask the status of the Article 7. We need to keep following because they're not giving up. Equinor is going nowhere. They are not going away. Attend the environmental committee meeting. Christina just got appointed to that board, so that's good. She will be helping with that. So that's a wonderful thing. Another thing I want you all to know, Christina's running for trustee of the library. It'll be good if hopefully she'll get in. Please vote, because that's another person that's for us that will help us. So spread the word, please. Okay, so you want to go to those meetings. They're open to the public. They occur every monthly on the first Wednesday of the month at City Hall at 6 p.m. Again on the 6th floor. Okay, write letters. Michelle is constantly plugging away. You have to write the mayor, the governor, the assemblyman, the legislatures, everybody, and call as much as you can, because the squeaky wheel gets the oil. We all know that. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. Yeah, I guess oil, right? We don't want the oil, but you know, okay. And okay, so now we're gonna start some committees. You can join a committee, lead a committee. A person can oversee a committee. So in order to engage in group members and organize, we're gonna have committee leaders. So I'm gonna go through some of the committees. We're gonna have an education and awareness committee. Christina's gonna lead that committee of community outreach. The legal committee, Michelle's gonna lead, but anybody can join these committees. That's gonna be regarding the Article 7 and writing the lawyer and all of that. So then the legislative committee we think maybe Marjorie, are you gonna lead that possibly? To follow up on the lawsuits and update the legal team. If you wanna lead that, or I can lead that, or if somebody else wants to lead it, what do you think, Marjorie?
Yep, I can lead that.
Okay, I might help her with that one. There's going to be a social media committee, oversight of the Facebook page, and we need somebody, if anybody knows somebody young and hip, to do an Instagram, because I don't really know how to start an Instagram page. A Twitter account too, that's big. So. A technology committee, maintain and update the website, making it user-friendly, links to petitions, create an email list from there, communicate with other committees, and update to the website, including other offshore wind, New Jersey. And, you know, there's New England, we really all need to band together. The art and design committee, Christina's going to lead up, create postcards and signage. There's going to be a fishing committee. So somebody could lead that up to contact with other fishing groups. Maybe you, Mike, if you're on here. And contact with Bonnie and Rose and the Freeport Tuna Group and Splash. I think I might be interested in doing the fundraising committee, if anybody wants to help me with that. Organize fundraisers for a not-for-profit, create a subcommittee to assist, communicate with the 501c3. Sales of POCLINY apparel and other items, bumper stickers, bracelets, keychains. So Veronica, you'll probably want to help me with that. And we're going to need a lot of people to do that. And there'll be a benefactor fundraising to reach out to the big corporations, communicate and correspond and work with large donors. So how we're going to email at POCLINY@gmail.com, POCLINY @gmail.com. So that's a lot. Everything's on here. You can watch this again. You know, email will be sent to the calendars, and everybody please put your email in the chat. And anything else you can think of. And the final thought on all this is just show up, and tell everybody else to show up. And we need to grow. We really do, because it seems like it's always the same people. So, and public meeting attendance, show a force when there is a presentation at a public meeting, be there for political stuff and for the city. And as a 501(c)(3) part of it is I have to stay out of the politics now. So that's going to be.
It was suggested. So if we kind of took turns, then, you know, I'll go to city council every other month, or, you know, so that.
Her mic off, so we can't hear her.
Yeah, I'm going to cut my mic and you can talk now, because they can't hear you. So.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I was just saying, I think it's important that we set up a kind of a round robin. I'm still on you. Oh,
I thought I muted.
a round robin for attending these meetings, while it would be lovely if we could all go to every meeting, that's just not a possibility. So if we can get 6 or 7 people every time there's a city council meeting, preferably more, but so if we alternate meetings that we go to and come up with kind of a loosey-goosey schedule, I think would be kind of helpful, or a list of what meetings we want to have a presence at. So maybe that's another committee we need, is somebody to keep an eye on what meetings are when and who can attend. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, can you hear me? The other thing I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Did you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Christina, you're muted again, so we can't hear you now.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, I'm Jen. I'm in Christina's computer. Okay, so about the merchandising, we're gonna really try to step up with that and yeah, and we're gonna be raising more funds. That's the whole reason for the 501(c). And now that we're gonna be starting up with the Article 7 again, the money is going to go quickly. So we did use some of that to start the 501(c). And just so everybody does know, a lot of that was also used to help to try to we are trying to throw, if you've been following the DMM, we have been trying to get rid of this and get rid of Equinor. So there's been motions filed, and so that has been going on lately. A lot of background work he does. He's incredible. We wouldn't be where we are today without him. So are there any questions? You can type it in the chat. You can ask them here. You can ask them on.
I have a question. First of all, thank you for letting us attend your Zoom. I'm a native of Brooklyn, and I went to school in Hempstead, and as well as a few other places, but I don't think there's one Facebook group in Brooklyn, and I don't think I've seen a Facebook group in Manhattan against the turbines, which is a little astonishing. You know, I mean, I've been pretty active because I happen to be in Cape May at the moment, but I also spent some time in San Francisco, and we've been having various Zoom meetings with this fantastic attorney, Maureen Coates, who happens to be originally from from Queens. She now is in Washington, D.C. And some of the main takeaways with her Zoom meetings that she's been very incredibly informative. Basically they're saying, to us, this is, the whole project is supposed to be giving us adequate electricity. And, most everybody, generally speaking, is very focused on other aspects separate and apart from the intention of this entire boondoggle, which is to give us enough electricity and at an affordable price.
Yeah.
So, she's been stressing contacting the PUCs, contacting the ISOs, the independent service operators, going about this in a different format that doesn't necessarily take us to the poorhouse on legal fees. She's trying to stress sort of more group, like petitions, letter writing campaigns, whatever, certainly obviously to your elected officials, but to stress the point that, first and foremost, this is supposed to be a project about providing us electricity. And certainly in New York, when they took down Indian Point and Shoreham, Indian Point gave 25% of the electricity for New York State. And with, I think, if I understand correctly, New York is now saying no new gas plants. So if the wind can't give us what we need, they evidently have not factored in expansion, growth, future need for data centers, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, she's stressed to us many times that this whole proposal is so fallacious. It doesn't give enough electricity for the subways, for the police, for the hospitals, any number of things. So a lot of us have been, focused on obviously the horror on the coast, seeing the dead whales and dolphins and everything else. But she's stressing to us, what about the hospitals and the neonatal units? And what happens if, you don't have streetlights? And in Europe, they're doing subsidies of a lot of money, because it's so expensive, 2 or 3 times greater cost for individuals to have electricity. So the government's actually giving subsidies so you can pay for your electric at home. So, I mean, if they don't even add up how much is needed in this case in New York, how can they, like this whole thing is fallacious. I mean, like who's insuring this? If this is in a hurricane zone, it's electricity. It's in the ocean, which is salty, which is a corrosive to metal. I mean, how are they getting this stuff even insured to begin with? Let alone, the lack of overall comprehensive evaluation. I mean, it's
We all agree with you. That's the issue. That's why we have lawyers. That's why we're,
Doing some research on we're hiring people to do research.
sure, of course. Yeah. But I mean, I think that, we're also in close touch with the people in New England, and it's pretty heartbreaking. I mean, and in Virginia Beach and POC Delmarva, everyone has the same issue, almost, or similar. They're coming in on their beaches. They're paying the mayors of their towns money, to get permission to lay the cables. There's so many similarities. And, if we could maybe perhaps think about a regional approach to, get a strategy where all of us are together legally, because this is such a failed proposal with these wind farms. I mean, we're not going to have enough electric in New York. We're not going to have enough electric in New Jersey. I mean, the whole entire coast.
Right.
mean-
They talk about 70 million homes, but they're leaving out the other 20 million. So it can't carry the payload, and we're
Yeah.
still going to have to keep 100% of fossil fuels. So, and they admittedly say it's not going to impact climate change in a positive way. So what are we doing here? Just sacking the middle class and the poor people with more debt. So
Right. So where's the environmental justice in this? Yeah.
exactly.
Right. Oops, something happened here. I don't know.
I'd like to ask something also, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, do you plan to have any sort of like a media person that would address all the financial conflicts of people being on the boards? That's something that I've been noticing more and more and more about how the people from BOEM, from NOAA, from that, I think it's BSEE, BOEM says that BSEE is in charge of enforcement. And as you said, there's self-enforcement by this industry, which means no enforcement and total conflict of interest. And I think the name and shame thing might be something that maybe needs to be done.
Well, we have some of that right here in our own town, Karen. We know about
You know?
Splash. We know about Scootin. We know about the Long Beach cleanup. We know about Surfrider. Everybody's too afraid to call these groups out. And then the
Yeah.
silence is deafening with the other surf groups. So while we can go attack those larger groups, but I think we need to start right here at home and call some of these out. If we can't even get support from inside our house, how are we going outside to attack? You know what I mean?
Well,
But I agree.
federal employees don't work for Equinor. They're supposed to work for the people.
Right.
And when I was very shocked when I saw those speakers going to an industry event that said, we'll show you how to get your project fast tracked, you know?
Right. What was that you sent me, Karen? It was BOEM, right? BOEM?
Yes.
So yeah, NYSERDA is supposed to be helping us. BOEM is supposed to be protecting us.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, we're going to end up suing New York State. I mean, like that's inevitable, right, everybody? I mean, I would think that's almost a given at
So-
this point.
Absolutely. We need to go for damages.
and that is the main reason that we had to organize the way we did, because like we said, even if Equinor backs out, there's somebody behind it. So it's not.
Well, I think we're forgetting something else too. And I learned this from Maureen Goetz at that meeting. There's also this underlying investment that our lawmakers are involved with, that, you know what, even if the wind turbines don't go up, there are certain investments that will make them rich anyway. So it's like we can't possibly win, because the people who are voting on the laws are the people who are invested and stand to be billionaires. So how can we get around this?
Well,
Ladies,
quagmire.
this is not a climate change initiative. It's a climate cartel.
Yeah, it's a transfer of wealth. That's what it is.
if you're Taylor Swift and you want to take your private plane to go to the Super Bowl from Tokyo and they'll go back on tour again, you can, because you can buy carbon credits.
Well, that
And
in itself is a conflict of interest.
that's basically what is happening here. Yeah, we need to fight this. Natural gas, I am a big believer that natural gas is clean. All of our problems would have been solved with the Keystone Pipeline, but you know who stopped that. The reason why turbines are so popular in Europe is because they do not have gas. We do. It is abundant here. So it is, like Christina said, it's transfer of wealth.
Well, Marjorie, we were on that Maureen Gets. I learned so much that day. We also learned that we're making all this effort to go after China, which happens to be striking up coal plants every day. But we need to look in our own backyards. So New York doesn't use coal. We're natural gas. We have clean energy, but states like Ohio and Indiana and some of the other states, they're still using coal. So they're using coal and their coal is getting in our air. So until all of the United States is using natural gas, why is New York and New Jersey and these East Coast states being forced to go further with it? Do you understand? Like, we can go after China, but what about cleaning up our own house first?
You're absolutely correct. That's why this is so corrupt, so colluded. It's China and India, actually, that are the biggest polluters. And with all the hydro resources that we have, we can resort to that too. And as you ladies might know, Europe is starting to shift from wind energy to nuclear.
Well, it was also stated one nuclear plant can take care of all of this. I mean, like, it's insanity that we're pushing forward with this. I guess we'll just keep talking. We'll keep forming our committees. We'll keep fundraising and hiring lawyers and researchers to do the things that, our elected officials aren't doing for us. We need to keep holding our elected officials accountable, and we need our elected officials who are on our side to push the other elected officials to get on our side. Go ahead.
So have to make sure we elect the right officials that will help us fight this. That's the other issue. There are certain officials that are for this and others that are wishy or washy or that aren't for this. So that's where we have to.
Well,
very
for the
careful.
time being, I think we need to be a one issue group. It's not Republican or Democrat or independent. It's this issue. If you're for offshore wind, we vote for you. And if you're not, if you're for offshore wind, you're not getting voted for. And if you're against it, you have our vote. It's really that simple.
Agreed.
All right. I'm
Okay.
going to tune out now because my concert's about to stop. I'm not ignoring everybody. Have a great night. And thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.
Good luck,
Okay.
Chase.
Bye.
Enjoy the concert.
Trudy, did you
So
want to
you-
say one more thing? We're going to start. to
Barbara
close
does.
soon.
There was a very good article that I saw this morning. I forget now what it was in that funny. Anyway, it was all about the fact that Italy has now decided to go nuclear.
Yep.
And it's very interesting. Because they said, they investigated the various alternatives, and after Chernobyl, they had, been against nuclear, etc. But in New Jersey, there was going to be a modular nuclear one. It was called the Holtec, and evidently it's been scuttled. But I kind of think that some sort of informational symposium that could perhaps be done in Long Island, Brooklyn isn't definitely in need of this, to inform the public what are the alternatives so that the various different groups are not labeled obstructionist, but that we can inform people that this is not clean, green, sustainable, affordable, any of it. And, aside from not providing enough electricity, it's impairing our national defense. I mean, Trudy and I went to the Ocean City, Maryland regional congressional hearing a few months ago, and it was made plain, the Coast Guard's already been alerted and has brought it up that their radar and sonar is interrupted by the height and operation of these wind turbines off the shores, and they can't do their search and rescue appropriately. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know where the boating industry is on this, aside from the fishermen. Why don't the various boat makers, why aren't they helping us? I don't know.
Again, we just have to keep plugging away and hope everybody else does. And like in Long Beach, we have one guy who found a study that shows that it's not going to work, and you have to keep finding your people who are going to keep working with you. So on that note, we thank you very much for having the patience with us. And like we said on our Facebook page, there are the pinned items where you can find the petitions, all the information up top. I can't seem to screen share it for some reason. Ben's information too. And hopefully next time we'll be a little more savvy on this. I'm not that great with Christina's computer, sorry. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. And we are working on all that stuff, and we'll be in touch with the emails, and like I said, hopefully we'll be a little more savvy next time. So thank you. And we will all be in touch, and we're going to keep going. Thank
So
you.
I just want to add something. The most helpful, most effective angles right now at this time are going to be arguing costs, because this is not cost. There's no cost benefit to us. This is in fact way more expensive.
Agreed.
So we have to argue that, and being very vocal on Article 7 and within settlement discussions. It is every New Yorker's right, and it is the platform in which your opinions, your voice can be heard. And research, and emails and phone calls to government.
Yep. And Trudy, that's where you can try to, because Brooklyn already has, they're starting the project. You want to get in there, try to find out where you can fight it for the rate paying, because there's something not right there. That's what you got to look into. The cost benefit analysis. Find somebody to help you with that on the Equinor 1 project in Brooklyn. Right, Marjorie?
That's correct. Trudy, are you a resident of Brooklyn or Jersey?
She is. That's Barbara next to me.
I'm part-time resident in 3 places, but yeah, I mean, the thing in Brooklyn's a mess, in the Brooklyn Navy Yard storing.
It's devastating.
And then the South Marine Park is where they're bringing in, that's in Sunset, and I mean, the Southern, and no, even Voice of Guanas, they don't even know. Anyway, it's very hard to get anybody there on it for whatever reason. It's just nobody's on this at all.
We've been having a very difficult time penetrating Brooklyn, difficult time penetrating Staten Island, although Staten Island is going to get devastated with a wind turbine manufacturing place. It's just about spreading the word, getting more exposure, getting more folks on board, extremely important. So the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal does happen to be in an industrial area. Yeah. It is not affecting the hipster part of Brooklyn, like Dyker Heights and
but I think the Gowanus is kind of hipster,
getting there, but those folks are kind of tone deaf.
Yeah.
They are insisting to believe the narrative that we need green energy. But they're not going to be the ones that have these 1,000-foot turbines on Coney Island. It's going to be in our backyard, and New Jersey is going to see them too. Yeah, and it's going to be all the suburban, beautiful coastal, towns of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Not Manhattan.
If the lithium blows up in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, you'll have a thermal fire like you've never seen before, 65 feet high. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
a scary thought.
near the Williamsburg neighborhood, the very hip neighborhood.
Oh,
You know, near the ferry terminal there, going to Manhattan with the New York City ferries. It's a disaster, not to mention the projects, the New York City projects, NYCHA. You know, this is supposed to be environmental justice. They're all gonna get blown up.
So there actually is an environment, there's an EJ committee that is planning to protect these groups. However, what they do is, they throw money at them, they give them community centers and they promise them jobs, although that remains to be seen. It's been very, very difficult to penetrate that group. All of these, all of this is so much value, what everybody has shared so far, and we want to continue this. And we would like everybody to send their full contact information to the POCLINY email so that I can gather everyone's information for a good database so that we can send out the calendar invitations for all of these events, calls, newsletters, and so forth.
Yeah, great.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up here because we have to be out of this room by 8, I think. So, thank you, everyone, and I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And we will be in touch.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Have a good
everyone.
evening.
Okay.
I just
Happy Mother's
say
Day to all you
Happy Mother's Day,
moms.
everybody, and have a
Have a
wonderful
great weekend,
weekend.
and we will be in
Okay.
Everybody
touch.
coming down to Jersey, have a good time Saturday, enjoy it.
I am so bummed that I
Oh, yeah,
cannot
so
make
do
it to
I.
Wildwood
Okay.
this Saturday.
All
I'm
right.
so heartbroken.
Night, night. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.